What is up, guys? It's about 9:30 at night, and I completely forgot we have a podcast. So, I'm dedicating this episode to procrastination. I know they always say, why put off tomorrow what you could do today, but who does that? Anyway, procrastination. What is it? It's putting off work, putting off sending an email, to do other things, or to do nothing at all. Most commonly taken in the sense of school. It's when you wait and do the homework the day before it's due, or while the teacher's collecting it if you're a real gangster. I recently myself have gotten into a habit of waiting till the night before it's due, because why not? It's not bad. I mean, if you do it right. Some people do function better under pressure, but it's just not always the best thing. I know this is probably going to differ greatly in quality to some of the others, thanks to procrastination, but we'll see. I mean, might not be 10 minutes, but we've had a couple long ones recently, so that's alright. Procrastination is just something we do. I think it's because we're creatures of habit. I think we do it a couple times, and then it's like, hey, it worked out, so I'm gonna keep doing it, because why not? Of course, then again, it could also be, I really do work better under pressure. It's not all that bad, but, I mean, it definitely plays on your thoughts, on your, feelings and emotion. I'm sure it definitely increases anxiety. Probably doesn't help depression. And I mean, if you're putting off to do all these things, you still have to do these things, and so it quickly becomes stressful. I recently wrote a paper on stress for English. Let's see if I can pull this sucker up and detail just how quickly stress becomes a part of our daily lives, because, I mean, as a student, it's all around us, all around me. Let's see. This is just gonna turn into my stress paper, isn't it? That's fine. We can do that. Got a 92 on this. You'll have to tell me if you think I deserved better. No, dang it. Not Spanish. No. Stress. Here's my stress paper. See, procrastination. Oh gosh, there it is. Alright, so take a look at my English paper on stress. So, stress is one of the biggest and most important problems across all age groups, because it always affects our life in a negative way. In the past, people did not feel so much stress as they do now, but it gets worse day by day. It's something most people experience, but what really is this feeling? According to the University of St. Andrews, it's defined as the physical and mental response of the body to demands made upon it. It is the result of our reactions to outside events, not necessarily the events themselves. With this definition, it would seem that there is not much to it to control your reactions, but it's quite more difficult than that. When you cannot control your surroundings, you have a hard time controlling your actions. On top of that, impulses are one thing that the brain does on its own, unconsciously, and stress is caused by these reactions or impulses. Once understanding that stress is caused by interactions in a student's environment, one can find out the effect it has on the student, their school life, and daily activities, and figure out how to effectively combat stress. A big part of stress is interactions with other people, and especially in high school when you've got all kinds of different people from all over the place, different lifestyles and ideas are being exchanged. Then you have a heavy class load. I mean, AP classes suck. And just honors classes, like chemistry, my chemistry class is harder than my AP class. That's ridiculous. Like, I got an 85 on a quiz and a 68 on a test in chemistry, and stuff I missed on the test, I got 100% right on the quiz. Like, how does that happen? Something messed up there. Of course, then there's trying to keep relationships with people, both boyfriend, girlfriend, and with friends, which can lead to bullying and victimization and things like that. Stress can be negative because it's so easy to come by. I mean, you can be physically, mentally, and emotionally affected. It's bad for your health because it can cause things like insomnia, high blood pressure, hyperventilation, which just especially insomnia, which means you have less sleep and less quality sleep, which causes stress to increase, which causes sleep to decrease, and it's a downward spiral. Of course, then it can also cause you to make poor decisions and have excessive worrying or even suicidal thoughts, which is just not good. And then the emotional aspect is it gives you anxiety, gives you self-doubt, quick to get angry, short-tempered, insecurity, hopelessness. I mean, that's just never good, especially in today's day and age. I mean, on top of this, these things cause grades and to take a big hit. Some people could choose to drop out. People easily get addicted to substances when they're under stress, because even like marijuana, which is not addictive, it can, because it causes, all these like good feeling, happy time feelings, I'm not stressed anymore, it becomes addictive. Now there's ways to handle it. You got the 4 A's. Avoid. This could be achieved by deciding not to take a full load of classes, or staying away from friends that draw you out and away from work. Just remember that you avoid stress before it happens. The next one is alter. There are some situations you can't avoid, so you gotta, change. You have to be flexible. Then there's accepting. You have to accept that not all situations are in your control and some things just happen. You just have to learn to flow with it. It's part of being flexible. And the last one is adapt, and that's the big flexible part. It allows you to cope with and ward off stress. You just have to go with it and start being adaptive so that you get used to it. I mean, there's other methods. There are many ways to combat stress. There are lots of things that can cause stress in students' life. Teachers give way too much homework, sports are overwhelming and competitive, and trying to keep friends and other relationships are just plain hard. Personally, I faced a great deal of stress just putting this paper together. Ironic, I know, the paper writes itself. Stress also causes a great deal of negative effects, which can be self-doubt, substance abuse, even dropping out. For a student, the most important thing is to not let stress get the best of them, because though it is easy to cause, it can be easily taken care of when the proper techniques are used. And so that kind of leads into the second half of this podcast, in which I'm going to get a little outside help from an NBC News study on how to talk yourself out of or procrastinate properly. You have to be aware of how you talk to yourself when you procrastinate. It only becomes a problem when we allow ourselves to feel guilty about it. It's like pathological lying. It really gets bad, and it can even become pathological when you start automatically or habitually engaging in lots of rumination and critical thinking. So don't think about the bad stuff you're doing. Think about it as it's easier to focus because I'm under a time constraint. If you're gonna procrastinate, you gotta do it consistently. You can't just do it here and there. You just have to be consistent. So I'm going to take breaks every 30 minutes. I'm going to, allow myself some time. I'm going to do a little bit here and a little bit there. This allows you to, quit from over procrastination. Next one is procrastinate with productive tasks. So don't do everything. Like this one, a blogger often spends his breaks working on improving his website. So if you're going to wait till the last minute to do something, wait until the last minutes to do productive things. Like, you'll always adding stuff or moving stuff, but this is like changing and, doing small things that are worth procrastinating. And, well, there's no step 4. But here's the short version. How to be a productive procrastinator. Pay attention to negative self-talk. Instead of getting down on yourself, think of all you've accomplished. Procrastinate consistently. Schedule small breaks every 30 minutes or so when you're working on a major task. And make time for productive breaks. During your breaks, work on the other productive tasks like writing or exercising or anything you need to get done. So, how do you procrastinate? Do you choose to wait and do the work the day before it's due? Do you do it right when you're assigned because you're worried you'll forget about it? Do you space it out over a couple days, give yourself breaks? Or are you the rebellious and love to take risks few that do it even as the teacher collects it? I don't know, but I know I got some work to do. So, enough procrastinating. I'm gonna go take my break now. See ya.